have internet problems today? Man, I'll tell you what, I didn't have any here. All right, Tom. Yeah, I'm ready.
Recording in progress.
All right, welcome everyone. It's now 6:30 p.m. and I'd like to call to order the Fenton Township Board meeting on this Tuesday, the 18th day of November, 2025. Glad to see you can make it.
Welcome, John.
It's not that you cut it short, John.
We waited for you.
Yeah, right on.
All right, I'd ask everyone to please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Gopal, will you lead us?
Yes, sir, thank you. Heavenly Father, bless us as we gather here tonight. Help us nurture the bonds of our community. Guide us to make decisions in the best interest of the residents of the township. We pray for an end to the conflicts in the world today. Continue to look over and bless our community and country. And we ask these things in your most holy name.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As always, thanks, Mark. Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Lorraine,
Present.
Reed,
Here.
Clark,
Present.
Krug is here, Kessler, absent, Gopal,
Here.
and Tucker.
Present.
Yes, 6 members present.
Thanks, Bob. I'd like to note for the record that Township Attorney Jack Belser is missing today. We do have our Operations Manager, Tom Broker, our Zoning Administrator, Mike Deem, our Fire Chief, Ryan Boltz, is also here this evening. Julia is not. And additionally,
Melissa.
we also have Melissa. Forgot Melissa. She's usually on Zoom, but our Township Engineer, Melissa Lawrence from Lawrence Engineering is also present this evening. Tom, will you detail the procedures for those attending tonight's virtual meeting?
Yes, to the members of the public attending tonight's meeting in person or via Zoom, please be advised the meeting is being recorded to be shown on public access TV on Spectrum Channel 191. Recorded meetings are also posted on the Fenton Area Community Television YouTube channel. For those attending via Zoom, we ask that you keep your microphone muted until we reach the portions of the meeting where the public comment is allowed. For tonight's meeting, there is one public hearing on the 2026 budget during which public comment will be accepted. All other public comment will be taken near the end of the meeting. Meeting materials are available for download on the Township's website at fentontownship.org.
All right, thanks, Tom. Moving on to the first business order is the approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda? Hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
I vote yes, Clark,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Reed,
Yes.
Gopal,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, agenda stands approved as presented. Moving on to the next business order is the meeting minutes. Included in the packet are the meeting minutes from the November 4th regular meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to these meeting minutes? Hearing none, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Moving on to expenditures, are there any questions from the board regarding any of the invoices? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion regarding the payment of expenditures totaling $415,459.79 for payment.
I would move that we approve and pay the expenditures amount of $415,000 to the rest. Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Reed,
Yes.
Gopal,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Lorraine,
Yes.
I vote yes, Clark,
Yes.
motion passes.
And the expenditures stand approved as presented.
Why don't you guys give me the rest of the number? I only get 415. Tom, you gotta put the rest of the number in, please. I'm still not there.
It's in the report, but actually, the way the motions are framed, all you really need to say is motion to approve.
Yeah, I know. I'm a non-conformist.
All right, moving on to public hearings. We have the Fenton Township 2026 budget hearing. The proposed 2026 Fenton Township budget was distributed to the board just prior to the November 4th meeting, and it has been available for review at the Township Hall since that time. Operations Manager Broker, will you explain and give an
Yes.
overview?
So presented for board consideration is the proposed 2026 budget for Fenton Township. The budget spreadsheet you have in front of you includes columns for 24 actual, 2025 projected, and 2026 proposed. It also includes a calculation of the change from 25 to 26. Highlights of some of the significant changes are listed in the memo. I won't cover every one, but I'll hit a couple of the highlights. We've got the museum grant coming in state revenue, it's $136,800. $110,000 decrease projected in state revenue sharing due to the recent change by removing sales tax from fuel purchases. We'll monitor that. Obviously, actual retail sales will affect that number up or down, but right now that's where it's projected. Both clerk and general and assessor departments, due to projected staff increases and contractual increases, are both showing increases to compensation expenditures. Election expenditures, we didn't have any elections this year, so we have two big ones for sure, so that's an $88,000 increase. $214,000 decrease in building and grounds expenditures due to the HVAC project that's being done this year, and also a retirement of some debt. And a $222,000 increase in museum building construction expenditures for the new proposed multi-purpose building at the Pioneer Museum property, which is partially offset by that state grant I mentioned earlier. Proposed general fund budget includes a projected deficit of about $1.3 million. However, $1.4 million in budgeted expenditures are for the Thompson Road project, which will come from the restricted fund balance. Therefore, the net effect on the unrestricted fund balance is a surplus of about $50,000. Private road maintenance fund, no major increases or decreases. Fire fund, decrease to vehicle repair expenditures due to the grass rig conversion being done this year. $80,000 decrease in new equipment due to new turnout gear being purchased this year. And $1.2 million decrease in new vehicle expenditures due to the purchase of the aerial truck and the new chief vehicle this year. Projected fund balance at year-end 26 is about $484,000. Dog parks, no change from 25. Street lighting just reflects actual expected expenditures. Same with the lakes. Solid waste, slight increase to revenue due to new homes receiving service. $71,000 increase to expenditures based on the current contract. The proposed solid waste management fund budget includes a deficit of $87,000 because the special assessment was averaged over the 4-year period. The first 2 years ended with a surplus, while the final 2 years, which is 25 and 26, will have an annual deficit. Projected fund balance at the end of the year is about $150,000. Mosquito abatement, no major changes. Sewer fund, projected increases to connection fees, user fees due to growth, and also to county maintenance and operation expenses. Bond increase due to some new bond issues, so bond interest expense goes up. And a couple large line breaks in 25, so we're projecting a decrease in repair expenses. In the water fund, we still aren't adding new connections really fast, so it's still kind of a best guess estimate, and we will continue to monitor and update as we need to go. So that's, as quickly as I could do, an overview of the highlights. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them.
Thanks, Tom. All right. The board will now accept public comment. Again, this is public comment just on the proposed 2026 Fenton Township budget. I'll now open up for public comment. Is there anyone here in person that would like to address the board, again, just about the 2026 budget? All right, hearing no one, I'll move on to Zoom, and it looks like we have no one attending via Zoom this evening. It's a little different. All right. Nobody here, nobody on Zoom. I will now close public hearing. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Nothing I have to say, so that nobody leaves here confused tonight. You heard Tom say that we've got a reduction because the 6% sales tax on gasoline is going away. don't go walking out of here thinking you're gonna save 20 cents a gallon on your gas. They replaced it with a different kind of tax, the sole purpose of which was to try and get more money into the road fund. So your gas prices are not dropping 20 cents per gallon.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, resolution number 2025-47. This is a General Appropriations Act resolution to formally adopt the 2026 Fenton Township budget. Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
Yes. Designates the supervisor as chief administrative officer and the clerk as fiscal officer. Sets forth the estimate revenues and expenditures for each fund. Adopts the budget by reference and for the general, fire, and sewer funds, adopts budget by department activity. Gives the chief administration officer specific transfer authority, requires periodic fiscal reports to the board, requires proper budget monitoring. I'll move the resolution.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Clark,
Yes.
Krug votes yes, Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
resolution passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Moving on to the next business order is reports. We have just a single report tonight. We have Melissa Lawrence from Lawrence Engineering that will give us our quarterly report. Good evening.
Melissa Lawrence with Lawrence Engineering, just to give you a quick quarterly report. You have it in your packet, but basically what I brought is you've got infrastructure projects, you've got some special assessments going on, several subdivisions, and then just a couple of businesses and what's going on with them. So first of all, the infrastructure projects. The Tupper Lake project should get started anytime now. I don't have a start date. They're working on giving us that start date. They are still, per the contract, the substantial completion is to be October of 2026. They believe still they're going to be done mid-2026. I'm thinking those dates are going to change, whether they get shorter or longer. I don't know that, but as soon as I get them, I'll obviously keep you informed. The Jennings Road Sanitary Sewer Extension Project, we had some changes. We had everything approved and through, working with Eagle for the Eagle permit, because we had some wetlands to cross. They asked for some changes, that along with some revisions in easements. We changed the path slightly. So those changes are done and back in. The plan is still that construction should start spring of 2026. The Phase 4A water main, that was planned to start where we ended Phase 3 at the Ripley-Ralston intersection. We kind of have a benefit there in that now we are going to utilize an existing 12-inch water main that runs along the west side of Ripley down south of Tickner. So our project is now going to start south of Tickner on the west side and come south to Silver Lake Road, and everything else remains basically the same. Those revisions are currently happening. They should go back in this week. Bottom line is, I think that project is still pretty much right on schedule. It should be ready for award and starting construction early 2026.
Is that because Linden joined the county? That's why you're able to move it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that line that was Linden's water main will now become a multi-jurisdictional line. So when all said and done, it saves us a railroad crossing. We might still have to do some work under the river where it crosses the river, but it still should be a benefit. The special assessments, the landings at Cranes Cove, so that will be several units hooking up to water. That is under construction, so that's getting them their meter pit so that subdivision can connect to the municipal water. They've started clearing and the pressure tap's done. They believe that's going to be done by the end of the year. I did find out here that the Glen Devon special assessment is also close to starting. I don't know what their anticipated stop date is, and maybe you do know that, but They are saying that they're gonna start 1 December on that one, so that's gonna be a lot of water taps for your new municipal water line. As far as the subdivisions, you have several subdivisions. You've got 5. One is just an approved subdivision they have not constructed. But the others are going strong. West Wind's Phase 1 is already like 2/3 built out. So meanwhile, they've been constructing Phase 2, the utilities and the road and everything. That's almost done. They've got their sanitary complete. The roads are done. They're just waiting on some stuff from consumers, so they'll be starting home building in Phase 2 of West Winds soon. The Glades, that's almost built out in Phase 1. They're working now on Phase 2 engineering plans and getting the approvals they need to get going on Phase 2. Cider Creek, Phase 1 is like 2/3 done. So they've already completed the construction of the infrastructure in Phase 2, and they've got, I think, already 5 homes started in Phase 2. The Fairways continues to just grow. I think they're maybe almost halfway done, homes being built or about to be built. And Brookwood is the one that I mentioned that, they started earthwork 2-3 years ago. They're still, last I heard, they're still waiting on their HUD loan approval. Maybe that got slowed down with the shutdown, I don't know, but they are working. In fact, they were out there today. They still have stuff they've got to do to stay in compliance with soil erosion. And the county oversees that for Eagle, so that's happening there. Other just updates, because we talked about them in the last update. Miller Industries, they are fully on municipal water and sewer, and their electricity is all done. They're working on their last inspections, so that the goal being to have the warehouse occupancy by Christmas, with office to follow. And then the schools, we talked about that. They worked all summer getting all 4 schools hooked up to municipal water. That's done and operating. Any questions?
Is the Miller original building on municipal water?
Yes.
Well, Melissa, I appreciate it. You and I meet all the time, talk at wee hours in the morning, but the board does not, so I do appreciate you coming and informing the board of everything that we're doing and keeping the board abreast of all the stuff we have going on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other?
Melissa, I wanted to say, in connection with what you said about the schools, I was at a Girl Scout meeting last night with my granddaughters, and seeing the kids come out of the meeting, drinking out of the fountains, filling up their bottles with good, safe water, really, that kind of made me feel good. Because it's been so many years that they had to take water and things like that, so.
Good.
You're right, Bob. I was at a play, same thing.
Yep.
First time I've seen kids actually drink out of a fountain rather than carrying around bottles all the time. I don't know what they're gonna do with all those machines throughout the schools, but maybe fill them with pop or something, I don't know. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, are there any committee reports to be made to the board this evening? Hearing none, next business order is communications. We have none this evening. Moving on to adoption of ordinances. This is the proposed zoning ordinance amendment, keeping of chickens and ducks. This is the introduction and the first reading. Our zoning administrator, Mike Deem, is here today. Will you go over it?
Yeah, so the Planning Commission held a public hearing October 23rd, and we had quite a few people show up. The intent of the ordinance is to regulate the keeping of chickens and ducks in the township. Currently, we only allow that in our agricultural zoning district. Some changes to the Right to Farm Act has kind of encouraged the Planning Commission to review the ordinance, and we'll go over that in a second here. You have a copy of all the comments that were received and a copy of the minutes of that Planning Commission meeting. A quick summary of the comments. We had a number of residents raise concerns about noise, odor, and the impact on small lots. We had a number of residents speak in favor of the proposal, highlighting health benefits of fresh eggs, environmental benefits, local food security, and educational opportunities. The core of the ordinance, right, would allow up to a maximum of 5 chickens or ducks combined for personal use only, not for commercial or business. The selling of eggs would be prohibited, keeping of roosters prohibited, slaughtering outdoors is prohibited. Chickens and ducks have to be kept within a fenced enclosure. Then we have some standards for setbacks for chicken coops, including that a coop may not be located in the front yard. It may not be any closer than 25 feet from any dwelling on a neighboring property or 10 feet from a property line, whichever is greater. And it would require a zoning permit. The thought behind not allowing the selling of eggs or allowing for commercial or business use is, again, to keep it as a residential use and not something that could potentially fall under the Right to Farm Act. If that were to occur, the township kind of loses our ability to regulate what's going on there. Planning Commission has made a recommendation to adopt the draft ordinance that you have in front of you. It was a 5-to-1 recommendation. Chairman McGurk was the no vote. His thoughts were that the keeping of chickens on residential lots is out of character with the township. But he did feel that the Planning Commission put a lot of effort into developing the ordinance that you guys have in front of you. The ordinance is very similar to what the city of Linden has. So it's kind of already the standard for the community. But I'm here to answer any questions you might have. And again, right, it's for the keeping of up to 5 chickens or ducks.
Thanks, Mike. Treasurer Tucker, you have something you'd like to add?
I would. However, my work schedule and my vacation schedule allowed me to completely miss every single meeting where this was discussed. So I don't have anything to add to that part of the component based on what I saw. What I will tell you is that over the years, every time I have seen this issue, there's always been somebody in favor and somebody opposed. Now that makes sense when you think about how our ordinance enforcement goes, because we wouldn't have got there if somebody hadn't complained. So, but every time I have seen it, there's been one in favor and one against. So I'm not really sure where our population as a whole is at on this issue. We'll talk about that in a second. But I do have some questions for Dean before I release him, because I am interested in hearing what everybody else has got to say here too. But as I understand it, looking at the ordinance, I didn't see it actually until it was in the package I've now looked at. You're talking about permitting up to 5 chickens and ducks on any residentially zoned property in the township.
Correct.
All the way up to multifamily residentially zoned district.
Yes.
Okay. Was there any discussion at all about minimum size of the lots?
So there was discussion. I think also included in here is, you know, if there's a homeowner association rules that prohibit it, then, you know, we wouldn't issue the permit in those situations. I think that kind of played into it. I think that the Planning Commission looked at where the smaller lots in the township generally are, and those tend to be lake lots, and there are sightline restrictions that would also come into play that would limit the location of chicken coops on the smaller lots. Having the setback of 25 feet from another dwelling on a different parcel also addresses the size issue, in that you know, if the concerns are that the properties are close together, being at least 25 feet apart, where we understand that on the smaller lots that's not really what the setbacks are, it limits where you can actually place, you know, a chicken coop.
Well, if I'm doing my math right, a 20 square foot structure is what you need to be able to house 5 chickens or ducks. 4 by 5, right? To make it under 30 inches, because chickens and ducks aren't really tall, don't really have a sight line issue. And I'm just trying to understand. I want to make sure we're talking about, because I think when you and I talk, even though I wasn't at the meetings, Mike and I have been talking. He's been telling me what's been going on, and at least at one point you said to me that it wouldn't be on lake lots. So I was a little surprised when I saw, you know, honestly, me personally, I think R3 is debatable, and anything more dense than that, I don't know that is appropriate, but that's just one guy talking out loud. I'm interested in hearing what everybody has to say rather than what I do. I also have some things I want to do to the ordinance I don't think will be terribly controversial, but I did want to make sure I got the questions from Mike before I say the rest of my stuff. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's all I got for Mike, so.
Mike,
Any
how are
other
we gonna be able
questions?
to, I'm sorry, how are we gonna be able to monetize how many chicks and ducks that people are gonna have? Because you know how people push the limits? I mean, do we have enforcement codes going out and checking these? Or is it just gonna be a complaint from the neighbor, or?
Realistically, it's gonna be complaint-based, right? They'll have to get a permit to begin with, right, for the coop that they'll have to keep the animals in. And they'll be, on that permit, will list the max number of animals that they can have. But just like most, code enforcement issues, right, we are complaint-based.
Any other questions?
Does the 5 include chicks?
Yes. The planning commission discussed that, right, and it was determined 5 is 5, and it's easy to count to 5, and not having to count the age of a chicken.
How will this affect the people that have chicken or ducks and are selling the eggs?
Well, it
We
depends.
talked about that before, and
Yeah, well, the ordinance itself specifically prohibits that.
Prohibits it.
One of the things that I want to do if this moves forward is I want to strengthen that language, because I've talked to you guys about that before.
Yeah.
To make sure that it's not just the selling of eggs, that's going to be an example of a commercial use. So I think, by the time this rolls around, the next time I can have some language. And I apologize for not, normally this happens down at the planning commission level, but I was working and having fun. So, yeah, it's one of the things I think has got the most pushback, because people are using logic, right? And I don't fault them. Why can't they sell the eggs? The world would be a better place if we have more fresh eggs available. Completely agree with all of that. But we have to absolutely 100% lock down the fact that there's no commercial use, because if we don't, we lose control. And we don't want to lose control. I can tell you what the numbers are like under Right to Farm. It would just, it would not be acceptable. So that is one of the things, Bob, that I want to address. It's in there already, but I want to strengthen that language a little bit.
So to answer those that are doing it today, if their property is not zoned agriculture, they shouldn't be doing it, because it's not permitted. Just having chickens, period. Having chickens, period, let alone selling the eggs of the chickens you shouldn't be having, so.
So Mike, I have a question for you.
yeah, go ahead.
On this structure, it says that the standards of the accessory buildings would apply. Would that also apply to square footage? Being a member of the ZBA, I've seen, a few requests for a variance for additional square footage.
So that would be included in the calculation of the square footage,
Okay.
right? So if
the
someone had a
size
chicken
of the
coop,
would be,
and they want to add on to their garage, and they're over by 20 square feet, well,
yeah.
that's,
Yeah, I just wanted clarity on that.
yeah.
That
I would
particular
treat it like a
clause.
gazebo or shed or other accessory structure.
Fair, thank you.
But the accessory structure is what's it's a 200-foot minimum, right?
No.
For 20-foot as far as, when do we need a permit for the structure? At what square footage?
Well,
Like a shed. What size shed has to be the,
so we have two different permits, right? We have a zoning permit, which is under 200 square feet, so we don't have like a minimum square footage. And then if it's over 200 square feet, that's when the building code comes into effect, and you
but
need
this
a building
says
permit.
minimum of 5 foot per chicken, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so, see where I'm at with that. How many people were at the meeting, and what percentage was, I'm just curious, pro and yay and nay versus the public comment?
So I'd say there's probably about 15 people who showed up to the meeting, plus you got copies of all the emails we received.
Right.
For those that were in attendance, think it was 2 that spoke out, expressing concerns, and with the remainder that spoke were in favor of the ordinance. Well, say in favor of allowing chickens and ducks. I think, you know, that the prohibition of selling and then the cap of 5, I think the people that are in favor would like both of those to go away.
Well, I get John's point. I mean, it's nothing but a valid point. And this is a shall issue permit, correct?
Yes.
And that allows us to police, give us some control as far as violations, yank it, and then if you don't have it, you won't let it happen.
Yep.
Any other questions before I open it up? Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. All right, I'll now open up for public comment. Is there anyone here in person that would like to address the board regarding the proposed zoning ordinance amendment for keeping chickens and ducks? If you would, Manal, if you want to come up to the microphone.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
And thank
evening.
you for taking care of our township and for your service. This is of keen interest to us because we got used to having our chickens. And thank you, Mike, for the presentation that you just did. My only question is with there's a state law that allows usually chickens, residential of course, and you don't sell the eggs, and we're not talking commercial, that I believe limits to 5 per half acre. And I believe this state law overrules any maybe city or township, or I'm not sure, it's some kind of farming law. But I just came back from Florida, where this city in Tampa called Yopal. And they have, I'm not suggesting for Fenton by any means, but they have chickens that roam free. And they become the attraction in the city of Tampa. But there's 400 of them protected by law, and people just go to Tampa and go to the city just for kids to see the chickens running around. And the Washington Post article 2 days ago had a hotel in the city of Tampa, a 5-star hotel, and I have the article, you can Google it, that says chickens, yoga with the chickens at this hotel. And they're using the chickens, I would never do that to my chickens, but they have diapers on them, and they're using them as an attraction. It's basically a branding, and somehow, some way, it's been a success. But back to our subject, to answer your question about chicks, if you don't have roosters, and roosters should not be allowed because they're roosters, you're not gonna have chicks. So I do hope that if we have a large property, that we would follow the state ruling and allow maybe more than 5 if you have a couple of acres. And of course, everything else that was presented by Mike, I completely agree with. It should be properly, the coop should be properly built, it should be secured, there should be fencing, and totally agree. I mean, people could give away the eggs, but absolutely no commercial use. I would even add more restrictions to make sure that the chickens are environmentally in good condition, considering Michigan chickens require 14 to 16 hours of sunlight, and we don't have that in Michigan. Like today, the sun sets by 5. So the coop should require LED sunlight, which is a fake light that the chickens keeps them healthy, for an example. So this way they average sunlight on an automatic timer, you know, up to an average of 14, usually it could go up to 16. And that really keeps the chicken healthy, the eggs very nutrient, and the yolk special and very nutritious. So I'm happy to help and answer any questions. I kind of somehow became an expert on chickens and hens. And if you need any help with any ordinances or any kind of language, I am available.
Manal, is there a group out there that maybe people like yourself, because I know I've had so many people since this conversation got started talking about how they would like to do it, and was hoping that the board would make a decision to move forward with this. Are there resources out there, people out there that do this, that, like yourself, that get together and say, hey, this is the, because I had no idea that they needed 15 hours of sunlight, so.
Yeah, actually, I kind of got into it because of the carpenter's son. And there is, there is online, just like we have the neighborhood community chat, your neighborhood, there is the same group. Ann Arbor, a lot of the residents in Ann Arbor, a lot of them have chickens, and it's again based on property side. Where my grandson George goes to school, I was shocked to find out that most of the parents, it's not a big deal, they all actually have on their property hens. So that was a bit surprising, but because I don't see it much in Fenton. But I know a few people have taken our coop structure because of the way we built it, and from the architect to duplicate the coop. And we made that available to a few people on our street. After this, hopefully, they heard about the ordinance.
Any questions for Manal at all? Manal, thank you very much for attending this evening.
Very welcome. Thank you again for considering this. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in attendance tonight that would like to address the board? Again, we're just restricting it to the chicken and ducks. Anyone else that would like to address the board? We do have a couple on Zoom. Is there, if there's no one else here, I will move on to Zoom. Is there anyone attending via Zoom? Oh, would you like to get up? I'm sorry. Just state your name.
My name is Amir.
Amir.
Amir Baz, nice to meet you all. Thank you for what you guys do. Quick question though. For those that do own chicken within the property, and I was at the last meeting committee hearing when they were talking about the planning, if they have more than 5 on their property, if there are no changes to what the ordinance is currently being proposed, what are homeowners supposed to do with the rest of their chickens, especially if they've owned them for X amount of time? Are they expected to get rid of them? And that's why I think, after hearing the ordinance, being at that last meeting and listening to it at length, obviously there's a large difference when you have a home on a property lot that's 1,000 to 2,000 square feet versus some of the lots, around the community, between all Fenton, are acres, right? It shouldn't be really limiting based on 5 because, well, you live on 2 acres while this person lives on 2,000 square feet. I think there does need to be something there, because asking someone who has more property and is capable, based on the guidelines of being 25 feet from a property line and to have a proper structure to zone for them, it doesn't seem right that they should not be allowed to remove their chickens. And knowing, based on the question you asked, how is this going to be enforced? It's complaint-based. Well, there's never a complaint because your property is large enough and no one can hear or see your chickens, then it's like one of those things, well, do they really need to do anything about it then? So I just ask for, before this ordinance fully does get approved, because, well, I'm in favor of it, I do think there should be, if you have a set property, you should be allowed to have more than 5 chickens or ducks, obviously excluding roosters. But I would like to bring that to the attention of, before all of you.
Well, I appreciate that, and I have similar feelings. I think that it's something that the residents of Fenton Township should be proud of. We are complaint-based, so we're not going to send a code enforcement officer out to your home because, you've got 9 chickens. But again, I don't know where this ordinance is going to fall.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak for the board. But when the ordinance is passed by this board, I think all of us will take a look at the number, and there's revisions I think you want to make. But again, well taken, and again, I agree with you. It's not how many, it's how large your lot is.
Yes.
I mean, so.
Awesome.
A very valid point.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thank you for everything.
All right. I apologize for that. So is there anyone else that would like to address the board? Now I'll move on to Zoom. Ryan, I can't read the other names that are out there.
Phone.
Yeah, or phone. would you like to address the board? If so, just unmute. All right, hearing none. If there's nobody else on Zoom or here, I will now close public hearing. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. We needed your names.
I was at the last meeting, I'm at this meeting again. I don't have chickens, not gonna have chickens, but I do think it's too restrictive. There's people that want them, there's people that have them. The only complaints I heard at the last meeting was one person that I remember, and it was about somebody that had, I have no idea, a ton of chickens, like in a garage or something, and it smelled. I think there's ordinance issues with smell. So it's not a chicken, you don't have to say you can't have chickens to fix that problem. There's other ways to fix that problem. So I think one person dealing with the complaint about that and you limiting everyone just seems unreasonable. I definitely agree with the lot size. I think if people have larger lots, why not? I mentioned it in the last meeting, I'll mention it again in this meeting. I can see you have, legal zoning, ordinance, whatever issues with letting people sell eggs. I don't know about all those details, but there are people that buy eggs that don't have chickens. And I think there needs to be some thought put into that. My wife drives every week and goes to different places that have chickens, and almost every one of them is sold out because they only have a couple chickens or whatever they have, and they only make X amount of eggs or whatever is going on. And I don't know if they're residential lots, if they're farm lots or whatever, but we were buying eggs for years for my daughter because she was allergic to chicken eggs but could eat duck eggs. And she's literally driving around the county every week to find eggs. And people that do have chickens sometimes have extra eggs, so they're gonna sell them. Yeah, they could give them away too, but why not let somebody sell something for $5? I don't totally understand.
If we do that, the ordinance is out the window, and Mike will help me out here, but then right to farm comes into play. You can have the scenario that you were talking about earlier multiplied by 10 or 100 in terms of the number of chickens. So we absolutely 100% cannot allow any kind of commercial use in conjunction with this. As silly as it seems, I understand the point, the logic is sound, but the legal issue is a real issue. We actually had a guy come to the planning commission meeting. I guess I was there for when the gentleman was talking, and I asked him the specific question, with respect to the commercial use, because that's, there's two components to right to farm. It's gotta be a commercial use, and then there's the GAMPs that are the regulations that the state puts out. And if you let it get to a point where only the GAMPs can apply, you can have hundreds of chickens on every residential lot in the township.
Yeah, and I guess I get that. You obviously know the details of that more than I, but to me it seems like you're just gonna push people to go that route, and your ordinance will be pointless.
Go what route?
The Right to Farm Act.
Yeah, we have more for that. I plan on making sure that doesn't happen.
Well, like I said, I don't have chickens, and I don't say that as a threat. I just say, being at a couple meetings, it seems like you're almost pushing people to go that route. And I don't know, I'm not an expert on the board and know all the details, but to me, it seems like if you can have, is there an ordinance how many dogs you can have?
Yes.
How many?
3.
5.
Oh, 3, I thought.
I think 5 is counted.
Mike?
Is it 4 that's permitted and 5?
It doesn't matter, I guess, just,
5.
Is it 5?
my point is, it seems very restrictive. That's my point, so.
Well, appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
I mean, Mike, can you share with us the complaints, because I'm kind of confused myself, the complaints that people had with chickens? I mean, where's the big problem? I mean, because I must have missed the meeting or something.
Oh, it's not here. Yeah, it doesn't come here.
No, yeah, I mean, but just, can you share with me why people are complaining about chicken?
So, uh, so the complaints that we get are that people have them, all right, and there's not necessarily a justification for the complaint in and of itself other than the existence of the chickens. The comments that we received, right, outside of the standard complaints that we get, you know, is that they're concerned about odor, they're concerned about that it's going to attract mice, that there is going to be manure, and, you know, issues and noise. Those are what were brought up during comments. Now, when we get actual complaints, the complaints are the existence of said animals. It's not, I am complaining that this duck smells, or I'm complaining about this chicken is loud. The complaint is, my neighbor has chickens, they shouldn't, but that's what the ordinance says. So it's a valid complaint, right? Because unless it's an agricultural piece of property, the ordinance does not allow the keeping of chickens or ducks.
I can just add on, because we had some hearings before Mike was with us
Okay.
on this issue. And what he enumerated was in part what you hear, smell, noises, a complaint, even though I'm not sure that's a valid one when you're talking about hens. They trespass onto my property, and they poop in my yard. My dog wants to eat them, and I can't keep my dog away from from the whatever. You're gonna attract coyotes to our subdivision. You know, those are the kinds of things that you hear from people that are opposed to it. It's fairly consistent, and then the other side of it is also fairly consistent. You know, it's great to teach kids responsibility. The eggs are great, they're healthy. Educational component of it, you know, there's a lot of pluses to it as well. I mean, you hear both of those over and over again, but it's like all the good lawsuits. You got two competing interests that kind of clash on each other, because for every person that you say can have a chicken in their yard, all of their neighbors have to deal with the fact that their neighbor has a chicken. So it's a two-way kind of a street, and I honestly don't know. To Mark's question, you know, if we were gonna put out a survey, this is what we're thinking about doing. We're X, Y, Z. I have no idea what the numbers would come back, because this issue is really responsive to maybe a handful of people, both for and against. If there's 20, I would be surprised. And we got 14,000 people in the township. I don't know what they think, I really don't. But, you know, maybe we'll wanna find out, I don't know. Something we could talk about, but, you know, I had the same question that you did. I don't know, because I'm fine, if everybody thinks, you know, it doesn't have to be everybody, you never get to everybody, but if more than half of the people think we should be able to have chickens and ducks in every residential district in the township, I would live with that, with the restrictions that we're building into the ordinance. I just don't know where they're at. I'm not gonna advocate that they be this way or they be that way, because I don't know. We've heard from, even if we go to 50 people, that's a very small percentage of our township that we actually hear from on this issue. So, something to think about. Well, we have time to think about it, because it's the middle of November. This isn't the hot run on chickens and duck season. So, by the time you get to Easter, different story. But, you know, we have time to figure that out if we want. I don't know what it cost us when we did the last thing on short-term rent. I don't know. I'm just throwing out the idea, because I would personally, I would love to see what people have to say about it. But I think it would be interesting.
But John, don't you think we've given them that opportunity?
Oh, yeah.
We have a system of government here, which includes the planning commission and the hearings that they held. I think if we start doing surveys for everything,
Yeah.
one, we had an issue where we put a survey out, and many times what you're gonna get are the people who are highly opposed to it are going to respond, probably more so than the people that are in favor. So then when you don't rule that way, you know, then you get the backlash. I think if we were gonna do something like that, I mean, you just have to put it to a vote to everyone, but I don't think that's necessary, because I think the way the municipality works, we have the opportunity, and we've given the opportunity, it's in the paper, it's posted on the website. These are open meetings, there are people here tonight to voice their opinions. And I think we've given everyone that opportunity without, going through a formal survey process.
And I don't care if we do it, I'm just throwing the idea out.
Yeah.
But to your point, okay, if we thought that with short-term rentals, that survey came back pretty much 50-50. It wasn't just one group or the other sitting here. Have we given everybody the opportunity to talk about this issue? 100% every issue we deal with, we do that. How many people have actually participated in that decision? And compare it to how many people will be affected by the decision.
Right.
Okay, so that's the only reason I'm just throwing out ideas. I'm not for or against, I'm always in favor of more information, and I personally would like to know where the people of Fenton Township are. I know where a handful are in favor, I know where a handful are opposed. A lot of great comments, it's useful stuff. But that's, same story when we did short-term rentals. And so, anyway, I'm not gonna die on the hill of a survey, but I think it would be useful.
Was this not brought up to the board because of what land,
Master plan.
or the HR 49, or 40, 49, and 4050 from the House? I mean, was this an issue before?
Was this an issue? I don't know if issue is the right word. I think it's a discussion topic that the planning commission has been requested to consider for a while.
And that's fair.
Because people, want to have chickens. And the ordinance, the ordinance is very easy to enforce right now. Agricultural property, if you can have animals, right? If you're not an agricultural property, you can't have farm animals. Well, chicken is traditionally considered a farm animal, so it's very clear cut. Now, the reality of the situation, if you look at what Linden allows, chickens, and the city of Fenton allows chickens, and then here we are in the middle with our two communities, our siblings that have them on similar sized lots as the township, and we don't allow them only in the agriculture, is a discussion that should be had, right? And that's kind of, the timing of all this was honestly more of a coincidence than anything. It's been on the planning commission's, list for probably 3 years to talk about, so.
And I'm okay with it. And again, this gentleman here, when he brought up the fact that, it's kind of restrictive, I mean, it's less restrictive, anything we do is less restrictive than what it is now, because right now it's just ag. I understand people, I've been educated by the number of people that have this that aren't in agriculture. But, again, we're not a police state, we're not a police township. I understand that, and I love that about this township. So, I think you got, like John always, you gotta start somewhere. And we can always revisit this and revise it. And, I personally don't have an issue with the number of it. Amir had a great point that, if you got 2-acre lot and nobody's even near you, sure, that's silly to have 5, but, also, Lake Panama, we got 40-foot lots on Lake Panama where it's not gonna happen anyway to worry about lakefront because it's not 25 off the line or whichever, because there's not 25 feet on either side of a lot to put one.
I don't think I agree with that. I don't think there's a lot in the township where you would be able to put one like that. It's
Well,
25 feet from property.
Eastview Drive, they're 40-foot lots, so how are you gonna put a 25-foot setback?
It's 25 feet. You measure, yeah. Yeah, okay, all right, you're right.
You see my point.
I see your point, yeah.
So, I mean.
Well, assuming they're built on both sides.
And I don't think a lot of people on the lake, I don't think this is their.
Well, actually, it's not.
They're
I'm
just
gonna go back,
scratching hit the,
I'm gonna go back to
by
my,
the Amazon chicken coop for their.
I'm gonna go back to my original position, because it's not to the property line. Right, measurement isn't to the property line. The houses are set off the property line. So I think the vast majority of lots would be able to have one.
I do too.
10 foot
I'm
from a
just
property
saying
line,
not all
25 feet
lots
from a
are
structure.
going to. I mean, there are some, I see there's some ways you can maneuver this ordinance to exclude some people, and I don't have an issue with that.
Sure.
I think you got, again, my parents, on Eastview, it's a 40-foot lot, so I mean, the houses are 5 feet off the line anyway, so that's not gonna be an issue there. But I think it's a good start, and I think passing this is making it way less restrictive than theoretically it is now.
Well, I agree with Christine in the sense that we have a great process here. We have, this form of government seems to work, and again, not everything that, the decisions we make, we're all elected by the people, so we're all held accountable by the people. We work for the people that live in this township. So bottom line is that we have a process, it goes through the planning commission, planning commission does the due diligence, they talk to the people, people have a chance, we put it in the newspaper, they come here, they talk about it, and if my numbers were right, you said about 17 to 19 people were there, only 2 opposed. So if you extrapolate that out over a township, is that math gonna work? I highly doubt it. But again, I think we were elected for a reason. And John brought it up, STRs, and we spent 1.5 years on that. We let the process work. It was tough. We made some tough decisions. We're probably one of the most restrictive starting out in the state. But it was the right decision. We have no complaints. The township is still working. There are a few complaints, but nothing like what it was. It worked so well that, you know, at the next MTA conference, I'll be teaching, you know, they've asked me to teach on what we did and why this board did what we did. And I think we can do the same thing with chickens and ducks. Again, I'm not really concerned about the number, but I think that people have the right to do on their property certain things as long as it doesn't bother their neighbors. And since we're a complaint-based municipality, we don't go out and check people's chickens. I don't want to go out and check. My code enforcement officer is not going to be sent by this supervisor to go check count the number of chickens in your coop. But I think we can come to a decision, and I can certainly assure the residents that this board is a great board, and it will come up with the right decision, and it can always be changed. So.
May I ask one more question to the real estate lawyer?
Yes.
Says, speaking of lakes, and I know a lot of lakes residents, it says located within a front yard. What is the front yard on a lake?
Roadside.
Okay, so that's gonna take out most of it. I mean, there's a
Like I
lot
said,
of
roadside.
houses. Right, but I mean.
It's gonna push it to the, it's gonna
But
push it to the
there's
lake.
houses
lakeside.
that are right up against the road anyway, that's my point.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of lake lots, the houses are right under the road.
Oh, I thought you were worried about the.
Well, that's why I'm asking
Yeah.
this, it can't be in the
It's-
front yard, I know for real
gonna
estate
push 'em.
purposes, it's front yard's lake, but for legal purposes, the front yard's against the roads, and, you know, I know a lot of houses on lakes that the houses are on the road, so it's not, that'd be a good point for them.
Then line up 100 riparians and ask them where the front yard is, you're gonna get 50 this way.
That's why I'm asking, I mean,
Yeah.
legally,
That 50-50 works.
The zoning ordinance defines it as the roadside.
so I think that's gonna exclude a lot of lakes, that's just what I.
Well, what this does though, is, so we're all clear, it pushes it into the lake center. Or whatever.
I mean, in reference to complaints, I mean, I'd be willing to bet that there's more complaints about dogs than there ever has been about chickens. You know, so I'm just kinda confused
Well, I
on
can
where this is.
tell the board, Bill, I've never had a complaint reach my desk on chickens.
But we do have to realize that they're illegal, okay?
Mhm.
So.
But I can tell you this, they're all over our township.
I know, I'm like Mark, I see them all around.
I see it, yep, they're all over, and again,
People aren't complaining about them.
I'm a supporter of it.
Is it ag, this isn't affected by agricultural lots at all, this is just for a resident?
Nope, it's got egg in there, we're gonna talk about that, we're gonna get rid of that. That's
We're gonna get rid of the ag in this sort
at
of.
least,
Okay, thank you.
my opinion,
Thank you.
because, you know, that is clearly, this ordinance would be far more restrictive than what we have with respect to ag property. And ag's got a 5-acre minimum, you get 5 chickens for 5 acres.
5 acres.
Okay,
On a farm.
and we can't, and now we're gonna tell them, you can't
Sell
sell
'em.
them from your ag property. So I think ag is gotta come out, because I think that should be a right to farm area. That should be where, Jeff or Amir, whoever was going looking for duck eggs, you know, we should have those, opportunities
Correct.
available. So that is one of the things that I was going to suggest. I think it is too restrictive from that standpoint.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
I look at this as an ordinance that we need, but it's unenforceable. with one officer, Pat, he's gonna be counting chickens and ducks in his sleep if this goes through. And we talk about a person, I have a friend up north who raises chickens for eggs, and he lives on Sanford Lake if we ever get the water back. But he doesn't charge you when he gives you eggs. You just happen to leave you a tip. And the tip equals, so I mean, there's so many issues. I'm wondering if we aren't better off not doing anything.
Well, that's why I asked that question, but
I know.
it's been something that's been.
But we have to, because right now, everybody would be in violation that has chickens or ducks. So there has to be something we do, or we just,
I mean, we're technically loosening restrictions.
Yeah.
Correct.
yes.
Yeah, but what Bob is suggesting is that what we do in terms of being reactive to complaint driven might be a better solution, just to continue to do that, because they're
Yep.
aware, and not everybody's got an issue with them. I think that's clear. That's a viable option that he's suggesting, whether that's the best one or not, but that's what he's saying. Maybe the best thing is to not put the number on here and just deal with complaints as they come in.
Just a thought.
I don't know,
Any other questions or comments? Mike?
I think the planning commission would feel that that would be, you know, unfair to the person with, the neighbor that's, you know, against them, right? Realistically, right, complaints we get, complaints aren't about the ducks, complaints aren't about the chickens, the complaints are about the neighbor. And what can we do to complain about them? And so in this, you know, philosophy, I think that it's not, from a moral standpoint, probably the best way about doing things.
Well, but you got the same issue, right? It's just gonna change. They got 6 ducks.
Right.
Get out here, you know, I'm mad at them, off their ducks, you know. I don't think that dynamic's gonna change. And bad neighbors is one of the worst things that can happen to anybody. I mean, as a real estate lawyer, I've been seeing it for 40 years, and count your blessings if you got good neighbors to get along with. That is a wonderful thing. Because to Mike's point, that's what a lot of it is. It's just personal animus. And it's who can do what to, I could tell you stories.
Mhm.
Boy, I can tell you stories.
Couple hours of my day, every day,
Yeah.
on just neighbors. And I'm not exaggerating, probably a couple hours, driving out, yes. When you can just walk next door, have a conversation, try to work it out. All right, any other questions or comments from the board?
So would our changes, I mean, or would we affect changes between reading 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the plan.
Would this be something
Yeah,
we have to do
we
now?
will come back, no, we will come back, and then everybody can talk about the changes before we adopt the final.
Let me tell you what I'm thinking about, just for the stuff that I think.
Yeah, no, I'd like
So,
to, yeah.
I wanna get rid of the ag, because I think
Same.
we're going the wrong direction there, standpoint. I wanna expand that commercial use prohibition so that it's, you know, got more meat to it. There is some language in the Linden ordinance that talks about, if there's a building and use restriction with the permitted void, you know, if the building and use restrictions prevail. It's a lot stronger than what we have in here. It is mentioned in here, but I think that, you know, I think that is something to look for. I'm a little disappointed Jack isn't here, because one of the things that I'm thinking about with my lawyer hat on is when they fill out the application includes a representation that there aren't any prohibitions that they're aware of, no guarantee, and that they waive their rights under the right to farm because they know that there could be no commercial use as a result of this. So I was curious to see what Jack would say about that. But I'm just really deadly serious about making sure if we do this, that we don't open up right to farm stuff. That's my biggest thing, all this, because I get fresh eggs from a gal that works in my office. And I don't care for them, but to Bob's point,
You give her a nice tip.
every holiday, I'm making my contribution to, feeding grain and whatever.
Yeah.
So, is that commercial or not? I don't know, but if our ordinance said you can't do it, and when they've signed something that said, yep, I waive my right because there is no commercial use, it puts you in a strong footing.
If we don't adopt this ordinance, would right to farm still rear its head?
Yeah, well, that's the question that I asked the dude, because there's two parts, gotta be commercial, and then all these GAMPs that you gotta comply with. So, I said to him, if our ordinance does not allow commercial sales within that zoning district, does that mean there are no right to farm acts? Rights, okay? And his response was, don't know, gonna have to talk to the people in the black robes. It's gonna be a judge that tells you this or tells you that. And that's why I'm hanging my hat, because it's never been permitted, okay? And I don't think, when we were talking about the moratorium, I thought it was a bad idea to ever allow it to be permitted for that very reason. But I think there's things we can do. You never get a guarantee that you're gonna keep the right to farm from being raised, or even that you might lose it. But under that scenario, I would go into court myself, very happy and comfortable with the argument. Judge, never any commercial use permitted in this district, and when they got their application, they waived their rights, because they knew there was no commercial. If I can't win on that, then I just go home sad, because, that's the way it is. But, that's what I was thinking about. I don't know if Jack and I don't always agree, so I'd be curious to see what he's thinking about. Yeah, that was, I think that's it as far as, changes go, in terms of the ordinance, because I'm willing to look at this. I know, I think Mark has skepticism, honesty in that regard, but I get eggs. I've seen where, there's been chickens everywhere, and it can work in scenarios, but I do believe in baby steps too, so.
Can you commit to talk to Jack before?
Oh, yeah. No,
And maybe you
I'm
can
gonna clear
disseminate
with-
that
But I
information.
what Jack and I agree to doesn't mean anything if you all don't.
No, what I was
think
gonna
it's
say
a
is,
good
why don't
idea.
you disseminate
Yeah.
that conversation
Oh, yeah.
in writing to the full board,
Sure.
well in advance of the next meeting,
Sure.
with recommendations.
Yeah.
That way we're not getting it 2 days before.
And the only other thing I would think about, and you all can think about it, I'm really surprised in some of these really dense residential districts that we're gonna start there. I would prefer to start, we're gonna eliminate ag, and you do R1, R2, R3, I think you can argue about, but that's what the vast majority of our lots are, so if you're gonna actually implement change, you have to permit it in R3. But after that, I'd have to go back and look at our schedule of regs, but, how do you do it in multifamily? How does that even work? So, that's stuff I would think about, and I don't know if there's consensus about it, but I would rather see it start limited and see how she goes. Because I agree with Mir, if you got a bunch of property, I think you should be, it's silly. I mean, the ag is the extreme example of that, but if you got a 3-acre piece out somewhere, you got 5 chickens, that doesn't make sense to me.
Any other questions?
So it sounds like John's got some homework. Is there anything you need from me for that?
Pretty quiet over
Yeah.
there.
But you're gonna get involved in that at some point.
Yeah.
Nice try,
All right.
Mike.
So would a map be helpful at all with lot sizes or anything like that, or?
We probably need to get them a schedule of regs, just so they can see what the minimum lot sizes are in some of these higher districts.
Okay.
The R3s, I think there's plenty of room in R3 for it.
Mhm.
I'm not sure myself.
Yeah, if we're not allowing R3, then there's no point in amending the ordinance.
Right.
I was gonna say,
Could
that's
we
the township.
Do we exclude, because
Yeah.
with multifamily, I don't know how that would work anyway.
Yeah.
Same house, one neighbor, these are my chickens.
Yeah.
That's my quota of the 5.
Right, I think that's an easy throw out, but,
Yeah. But I don't know what R6 minimum lot sizes are.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not, because we have bigger lots than a lot of places. We don't have city-sized lots.
City-sized lots.
Amir talking about 2,000 square foot lots, we don't have anything remotely close to that, so,
Not even the lake
you
lots.
know, like 8,000 square foot maybe somewhere.
Mhm.
Maybe there's,
with open space.
yeah.
Well, don't you think some of these multifamilies are gonna be restricted based on like homeowners
HOAs,
associations
are,
or like?
I didn't want to bring that up now, but I think that most multifamily in that situation, whether it be apartments or, you know, their HOAs control it, you know, so.
One more question, I'll shut up. HOAs, if this passes and somebody, it's never been an issue, so HOAs haven't addressed this, and then they throw chickens on the lot, somebody puts the HOA, no chickens.
The HOA, under the ordinance as it's written today, it would be the HOA that would determine whether they could have
So
chickens
if
or
they
not.
already exist, then they'd have to, I'm not an HOA, nor will I ever be, but, so.
I will be curious, I mean, over in history, when you had building and use restrictions, you know, this is back in subdivision days, before condos were so popular, but if you looked at subdivisions, and you looked at, you know, condominiums, I'd be curious to see, because I've seen it a number of times, where it says only dogs and cats, or, you know, no farm animals, or, you know, whatever, and you know, it's kind of like the opinion of the population. I would be curious to know what that is. I would be curious to look at some of these subdivisions that we have here to see if there's a restriction in there. And, I don't know. I was gonna guess, I'd say probably 25, 30% probably, but I don't know.
I know a couple of recent ones have no farm animals,
Yeah.
right, which I would consider a chicken a farm animal.
Yeah,
Right,
I think
so-
everybody does, right? They're cute and adorable and they provide you eggs. And they're tasty.
And they're tasty. Any other questions or comments from the board? Hearing on the second reading and vote on the adoption for the proposed ordinance will be conducted at our December 2nd meeting. All right, moving on to the next order of business, which is unfinished business. We have none this evening. Moving on to new business, this is the proposed employment agreement, assistant manager. The board has reviewed the memo in the packet. Operations manager broker, will you provide additional history?
Sure. I won't go through the whole memo, but this is something that the Personnel Committee started talking about early in the year. We're experiencing a lot of growth, a lot of changes in our township, bringing in of municipal water, the Township Road Improvement Project. Elections are getting more complicated. We've now got a Parks and Rec Advisory Board, expanding the sewer system, and continued growth. So those factors, along with the understanding that everything will not get less busy going forward, led to the conclusion that the addition of a mid-level administrative position would be of help to the township. So to that end, we created a job description for an assistant manager position, posted it, interviewed, and the recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to promote our current election coordinator, Megan Gito, to this position. She's been an outstanding employee in her almost 5 years with the township. As election coordinator, she took on a lot of challenges that were created from the updated election laws and met them head on and performed great. She has a great work ethic, good abilities, great abilities, and I think will be a great addition to the administrative team. So I wholeheartedly support the Personnel Committee recommendation and support the promotion, and recommend that the agreement be approved.
Thanks, Tom. Any questions or comments from the board?
I'm assuming Megan's not here?
No, she's on maternity leave.
Oh, maternity, okay, I didn't hear that. Okay.
And the agreement starts January 1st. That's when she'll be back to work then.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, I'll entertain a motion regarding the proposed employment agreement to promote Megan Indijo to the position of assistant manager as presented.
So moved.
Second?
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
I vote yes. Pardon me. Reed.
Yes.
Kessler's absent. Motion passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Next under new business, proposed staff hiring, receptionist election coordinator. Tom, you want to review that also?
So with Megan's promotion, the receptionist slash election coordinator position now becomes open. At my request, the union approved waiving the mandatory internal posting of the position so we could expedite the process. I then reached out to Allison Pethick, who's worked as a temp over 4 different summers for us and worked through the election last year to see if she had interest, and she was very much interested and has accepted a tentative offer. So it's my recommendation to hire Ally for the position. In her previous time as a temp, she proved herself to be a valuable employee, outstanding abilities, positive attitude, learns fast, and she's just going to be a great re-addition to the staff. The memo also includes just a few details about the position, and I respectfully request the board approve the hiring of Allison Pethick for that position.
All right. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
I worked with Allison on several elections. She's wonderful. She's very diligent, detail-oriented, motivator. You know, she could lead a team. So she'll be great. I think she'll be a great.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, I'll entertain a motion regarding the hiring of Allison Pethick for the position of receptionist, election coordinator as recommended.
So move.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Reed,
Yes.
Yes.
Clark, and I vote yes, motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, next under new business is proposed staff hiring. This is receptionist, social media coordinator. As the board is aware, our current social media coordinator and receptionist, Monica, is retiring. And she gave us the proper notification. Tom and I, and actually Mike was involved, got together. Tom posted Indeed, correct? And Tom, there was over 100 applications we received?
Well, between Indeed, Facebook, and our website, over 140.
140 applications, which is rare for this type of a position. Interviews, multiple interviews were made, and the recommendation comes highly recommended from both Mike, Tom, and myself. So Tom, anything else you'd like to add?
No, the recommended candidate, her name is Shauna Newsom, and she has an extensive background. She actually has been running her own business, providing social media and website services to people. So she's got the expertise we need. I think she'd be a great fit for the office.
Yeah, and Monica was very good at her job, and I was a little worried because we have just built this momentum going with our social media. We have such a great social media presence for a township. And in my corporation, when it came to these type of positions, I had talked to Monica about doing a test. Tom and Monica put together a test.
Monica did it.
Monica put together a test and sent the top 5? Or was it 8?
No, we had the 12. We had 12 first-round interviews. Each of them were given this take-home assignment of, here's a couple of scenarios. Tell us how you would develop your social media engagement plan for communicating these things. One was an emergency and one was an open house.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and then then she blindly scored them without knowing whose was whose. And several of them were very, very good. That's how we kind of whittled it down to the final 4 for the second interviews. And but Shauna's submission was the one that got the highest scores from everybody.
Yeah, Mike, I scored them, Monica scored them, Tom scored them, and it was really funny. We were all sitting in my office and we all agreed. So it was, the township's very lucky. So, any other questions or comments from the
how
board?
much does that position pay roughly?
Starting wage is, I think, $21.63 an hour. And then there's a stipend in the contract, another $200 a month for being the social media coordinator.
And how many hours do you think we're gonna have her staff?
It'll be full-time,
full-time.
Full-time?
38 to 40 hours a week.
But you have to remember, they're not just doing social media coordination, they're also working at the front desk. They'll be multi-trained. And everybody at our front room knows just about every position within that front room. Any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion regarding the hiring of Shauna Newsom for the position of receptionist, social media coordinator, as recommended.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Kessler's absent. I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, next on our new business is Fire Department new hires. Chief Foltz is here tonight. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, everybody. Well, it's something different again. We're going to hire 2 of them tonight. So it's been 8 plus 1 from last year. So 9 people in the last 11 months, 12 months isn't too bad. So especially with the area fire department screaming for people to hire, and we're getting them. So it's a good thing for us. Pleased to report that we have 2 applicants, which you guys see in the paperwork that Tom shared for the fire department. The first one will be Jody Lawson. He lives in Linden, in the Linden area. He's already a certified firefighter. He's been on 2 different departments before coming here. I know him personally. I've seen him on calls. He's very good at his job. He does very well. The last department he came from, he held an officer position. So I think we're getting a really good candidate here, and he's going to be a great addition to our department. The second is Jacob Deerduff. I know his father. I worked with Home Depot when I was back building. Watched this kid grow up. So he's also from the Linden area. He'll be a new recruit, no certifications. And I just request that the board approves both their hiring, and we can add them to our department.
Thanks, Chief. Any questions or comments from the board for the chief?
How many people do we have on staff?
With these 2 is going to make 17.
17.
It just seems like we hire 2 or 3 and 3 or 4 leave. So we've had a couple age out. I've had a couple just hang it up. So it's just kind of a reoccurring thing. So I think we're going to be sitting at about 17.
I mean, what's comfortable for you in reference to?
I would love to be at 25, but then everybody in the rest of the state would love to be at 25 as well. It's just not. Since COVID, and then everyone, you can bring COVID up as many times and beat it up. It wore our people out. They got sick from it, and they want it out. You know, the sheriff's department's suffering, we're suffering. You know, it's nationwide. We're trying to find a fix for it, and I've had discussions with Vince, with the fire committee, and I think we're in the right direction, and we got some things coming up that I think are going to, I know they're gonna make us better, and we're gonna have more responders, so.
Do we have
that's
any
our goal.
women firefighters on staff?
We have a lieutenant out of Station 2.
Well, Chief, you and I talk about this all the time, and I think our township is in better shape than all the surrounding municipalities, as you know, because we talk to them all the time. So I commend you, Chief. You're out there, you're looking, as the rest are floundering. You're doing very well, so.
Thank you.
And I appreciate everything you do to bring good firefighters to our township. That's what our residents pay us for, or pay you for, and you're doing a good job for it.
Well, I think a lot of it
Good job,
resorts to the equipment we have. We buy the best of the best, and we use the best of the best for our people. So a lot of these guys from neighboring communities see all that stuff, and I don't know if it's an attraction or it's just they want to use the new stuff. So
Well,
That's
like
pretty
you and
much
I
where
have
we're at.
talked about too, you have to look at wages, make sure we're paying people
Correct.
fairly, and make sure they're compensated for leaving their homes on a Sunday at midnight. So
Mm-hmm.
it's-
Absolutely.
Hopefully, things you'll be bringing to this board in the future. All right, any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, I will entertain a motion regarding the hiring of Jody Lawson as the member of the Fenton Township Fire Department as recommended.
Support a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Kessler's absent. I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
you have a new firefighter.
All right. Next, I will entertain a motion regarding the hiring of Jacob Deerdoff as a member of the Fenton Township Fire Department.
I will support a motion to approve.
Second?
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Reed,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Lorraine.
Yes.
I vote yes. Clark,
Yes.
you have two new firefighters.
All right.
Thank you
Operations
very
Manager
much.
Broker will now administer the oath to both Jody and Jacob.
Thank you. You guys want to come up? And your family want to stand side by side or whatever? More than welcome to.
Let the families come up.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. I, Jody Wasserman. I, Jacob Deerdoff. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. Faithfully execute the duties. To faithfully execute the duties of firefighter for Fenton Township. Firefighter of Fenton Township. To selflessly serve. Selflessly serve. The citizens of Fenton Township. The citizens of Fenton Township. With respect, dedication, and integrity. With respect, dedication, integrity. And to uphold the mission. To uphold the mission of the Fenton Township Fire Department. Of the Fenton Township Fire Department. Constitution of the United States. Constitution of the United States. Constitution of the State of Michigan. Constitution of the State of Michigan. And the laws and ordinances of Fenton Township. And the laws and ordinances of Fenton Township. So help me God. So help me God.
Good luck, Jody and Jacob. The board certainly,
So, this is Jody, this is Jacob.
how are you? Very nice to meet you. Welcome aboard.
Thanks, you guys.
Yep. All right, moving on to the next, under new business is Metro right-of-way permit, Easy Fiber Texas LLC. Operations Manager Broker.
Yes, so, Easy Fiber, officially Easy Fiber Texas LLC has submitted the required application and permit form to obtain a Metro Act permit to install fiber in our township. Included in the packet is their actual, I put the map separate, it's also part of an exhibit as part of their application. It's most of the east side of the township, it looks like. East of US 23 is their target area, although that could change. So it's more competition for internet services, which will be good for our community. The disruption or the inconvenience of having people working along the roadway is temporary. And it does generate revenue. They have to pay so much per foot each year through the state. And we've got about 17,000 in Metro Act fees so far this year. And so I recommend that the permit be approved and welcome them to the township.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Who's pulling fiber along Troy right now?
I think that's 123.net.
Is the money we get from this restricted at all?
No, it's
It's
straight,
not like the cable stuff.
it's just
General
straight
fund money.
general fund revenue. Yeah, it's not like the franchise fees we're getting from the cable.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother discussion, but, we get so much per linear foot every year. And they also have to submit a $500 application fee at the start too.
I think if these people would talk to each other, they could save a boatload of money.
That's what I'm thinking.
Put two cables in together.
They just
Yeah.
did it.
They're doing it, yeah, I'm watching them.
All that infrastructure money that was thrown at
Is that what it is?
everyone all at the same time, and these companies have just opened up everywhere. But, the one thing, like Tom says, outside of, what they're doing right now, as long as they come back and the restoration is done well, I think it serves our community because it allows competition. So to me, if you've got 3 internet providers, you can certainly beat one of them up to give you a better deal. So
Fiber is gonna be there, once they put it in the ground.
It's there.
It doesn't matter what happens to them.
Yep.
Fiber is the better answer.
Well, it's the future.
Yeah. It's the present.
For
some of us.
You got it. All right, any other questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion regarding the application of Easy Fiber Texas LLC for a Metro Act right-of-way permit in Fenton Township as presented.
Move that we authorize the application from Easy Fiber Texas LLC under the Metro
second it.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, next under new business is proposed Manitowoc Park Beach improvements. Our zoning administrator, Mike, go over it.
The Lake Fenton Property Association owners made a presentation to the Parks and Rec Board at the last meeting to discuss opportunities for geese mitigation in the township, focusing on the township beach. There's opportunities to develop a landscape plan that would utilize natural vegetation to discourage geese from coming ashore and doing geese stuff on our lawns. This could serve as a good educational opportunity for the township. We would have the ability to show the residents of non-lethal ways to mitigate geese on the lake. The proposal was essentially for the Lake Fenton Property Owners Association to work with the Parks and Rec Board to develop a landscape plan. Then after that plan has been evaluated for costs, we would again reevaluate and bring that to the board with a recommendation. I think this is a good opportunity for the Parks and Rec Board. I think, when we look at what the goals is, it's going to be an educational opportunity. It's going to create displays for the residents for this. I think long-term, if this is something that does move forward, Planning Commission should probably have discussion as relating to sightline restrictions, because right now we have the 30-inch height limitation for everything in the sightline. When you start looking at the height of natural plantings that help discourage geese, they may exceed that 30 inches. So at the very least, there's a discussion that should be had at some point, that maybe vegetation has a different sightline standard than structures. But the Parks and Rec has made a recommendation to the board that we partner with Lake Fenton Property Association owners to work on a landscape plan for the beach. Do have some members from the association here to answer any additional questions you guys might have, and I'm also here to answer any questions.
I mean, I have the landing pad for all the geese at my place for the last 25 years. And we've tried every possibility to eliminate it. And this year, I'm gonna try putting, they say they'll lay alligators out there, like plastic ones, and that'll kind of divert them. But they've talked about having radios and things like that, and that's what we're gonna give it a shot, because we've tried everything, and nothing seems to be working. And, I'd love to see, what type of plan they come up with, because they leave the residue behind, believe me, for sure.
How do they get on your lot?
They just fly. They fly, and then
Well,
you just see.
because part of the discussion at the Parks and Rec was they swim, and then they walk
Oh,
on the
yeah,
beach.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
And then they will migrate to the grass to do what they do.
Yeah.
So, and this kind of is gonna put a board in between the actual sand and the lawn. So I was just curious is how they.
Yeah, they just usually swim up to the seawall, and then they jump up over. And we've even had, like lines of metal, or like a wire going all around the perimeter of the
Fishing line.
property. And not even so much fishing, it had to be, because they'd snap that, and it just, that right there still, they would jump over the cable or get up underneath the wire, and it was just a problem. And I think it was more of a liability, to have those rods with wire going all around the property, because, people have a tendency to jump up on the property. And there was one year that this lady was so drunk out on the property, not my company, just people jump on the property, talking to one of the deputies there, and she fell on her face, and she missed that rod like that close to her face. And so I'm like, that's a liability for me, so I had to pull that off, so they allowed more geese to get on the property. But, I've had specialists come out, and they just can't seem to solve the problem. But I was told, try the alligators, laying those things out, and, some type of radio or sound or something kind of moving, so.
I want to know where alligators and geese come together. I don't,
That's the most,
I think geese would look at an alligator and go, yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna give it a try.
I'm not seeing where those two get,
Get
you
a
know.
real one and you'll keep the people off the lot and the people.
Well, another is dogs. You can have dogs out there, that, you know, but those things will chase the dogs, and the dogs we have run away from them, so.
Any other questions or comments from the
well,
board?
one thing, the Lake Fenton Homeowners Association stressed when they presented this that it was non-lethal. But they don't tell you that every spring they go out and kill every duck, goose, or swan egg they can find. So it's, they're plans,
Well, what I was
last
getting
I'll
at
say.
is that I think that we need to make sure that it's kind of a soundproof before they, you know, because it's gonna charge, it's gonna cost money to do it. And just make sure that it's gonna work, you know, and they should assure us that it's gonna work. Because you can spend thousands of dollars and it's not gonna work, and you say, well, you know, what do I do?
Yeah, I know Eagle has training, right, and I attended one of them, right, it talks about the benefits of natural plantings and, you know, for mitigation purposes, right, so, you know, it's the intent is to follow Eagle's recommendation, you know, on that.
I have two questions. Who's paying for it?
So that's part of, so it's really a two-step recommendation, right?
Okay.
Step one is develop the plan,
Yeah,
evaluate the cost.
yeah.
It'd be the township, you know, that would be,
Yeah.
that's being asked to,
So they're not offering their coffers, just their advice?
correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure. And I see a preliminary drawing in here, and my question with that, how do you get into the water?
Yeah, I think that's part of the partnership, right? I think evaluate a more detailed plan. Because at the end of the day, right, the beach is multi-purpose use, right? And it has to be able to maintain those uses,
Yeah.
you know, with whatever plan that's developed.
But the sidewalk goes, if you look, there's no flowers at the sidewalk where it is the beach.
Yeah, but
Yeah, with kids don't.
Oh, we addressed all that, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, what Mike said, this is just a preliminary, get it going, see what they present.
Yeah, well, and it's a hard question too, because I have a natural, we'll call it weed buffer on my lake shore. Okay, and I've left it, I've gone and done the things people do. And my father-in-law to my left, and my neighbor to the right are all the way to the water. It's a straight stupid. He's done the wire thing that Bill was talking about. And the geese come on the right, the geese come on the left. Geese don't go through that because they're afraid there's a predator in there, is what the concept is. So the concept works, but whenever there's an opening, that's where they go. You know, and I see it, next door they go over here, nothing over there, go over here, this guy put a nice sand beach in, they love that. Nice soft little cushion walk on it all the way up. But it does work, but as soon as you put a hole in it, then you got a problem. And obviously,
Put an alligator at the hole.
there you
There
go.
you go, we're gonna give it a try, I'll let you know.
All right.
Any other questions or
Okay.
comments from the board?
I think one other thing, you look through all these plants and they're beautiful, it would be very nice, but it emphasizes the fact that that they attract pollinators.
Mhm.
Which butterflies are fabulous, but bees at the beach are
Yeah,
not
that's-
fabulous. So, you know, obviously it's experimental, so we'd have to see how that goes.
Yeah, I think the parks brought that up also, right? So that is, you know, a concern that they have.
Yeah.
well, that's another question. And I'll ask the attorney. We do all this knowing that we're planting items, plants and stuff that attract bees and stuff. And a child gets stung. Some have a reaction. Guess who's getting sued?
Well, and I would never want that to happen to any kid. And could it happen? Absolutely, 100% sure. But we have what's called government
And, you know, the kids can't get to the water with this design.
Well, they'll jump over it, put a backboard out there, that's no liability for
Yeah.
that.
They'll make a path right through those new flowers we put in. They'll get there, they'll figure it out.
Well, again, just to remind the board, all we're doing is right now is just going to the next phase, to let them come back with something, because, you know, my only thing is when I looked at the design, I thought it's great, but, you know, I had the same question, I mean, how do the kids get in? I also worry about, you know, I've been out here for 4 decades, and anything like that, they nest in. You know, more, you know, they may prevent them from coming off, but they love to lay their eggs in it. So, again, I think at this point, it's just really just about having them design something, coming back to us with a presentation to find out. So that's all we're talking about. We're not talking about spending any taxpayer money, anything at this point, just really. And if it's something this board decides to do, I will certainly reach out to, you know, some of the designers that I've talked to, or, you know, the planners, and see, you know, how much we can get donated and things like that, so. And again, I'm not saying I support it, I'm just saying that all we're doing right now is just doing that. Any other questions or concerns?
Kristine's a better reader than I am, I just looked at the pictures, I thought, oh, how pretty. I didn't see the pollinator magnet thing.
Yeah.
Okay, missed that one.
I mean, I would just like for them to assure us that, you know, it's gonna eliminate the duck, because that's the whole purpose of this, right? It's not so much the flowers and enhance the
Right.
building, I think it's.
That's the purpose.
Okay.
Are
I
we
don't know.
eliminating geese
That's-
or ducks?
Probably more geese.
Probably,
because
I would
that's the
think so,
issue with
yeah,
the
geese
E.
are
coli.
the.
Yeah, E. coli is the.
And I live on the lake, and I've probably seen, a massive number of geese totaling 5 like our chickens all year.
Really?
Yeah. I get swans that people try to run over with jet skis. And there's a bunch of ducks right now, because they're saying, we're getting that blank out of here, winter's coming. Don't get me going, please. I just gotta shut up.
I'll give you a call when they visit.
Yeah, give me a call
I was
when
gonna say,
the resident.
I got them by the hundreds.
Give me a call when the residents are out there in their boats and jet skis, shaking the eggs in the nest and putting it back in, because they're trying to fool the ducks, swans, and geese to think they still have a viable egg there, so they don't relay an egg.
Well, it's not so much them laying eggs, they just want a place to sit on land. And then they, you know, they crap all over the place. I mean, it's just all over. It's gotten to the point where, Sheriff Swanson, he come out because he comes out every 4th of July, and he walked out there, he says, I'm not bringing my crew out here, they're not gonna come out here, all this has gotta be cleaned out. So we're, you know, I got 10 people up there raking, you know, piling all this stuff up, and we had like probably 8 to 10 garbage bags full of crap, you know, just to have the deputies and stuff on our property. So, but it's not so much because they lay eggs, they don't lay eggs on this property, it's just all, you know, but they just,
No, but they're trying to control them by killing them.
well, I don't look,
No,
I
they-
don't wanna kill them, you know, I don't
If
kill
you
'em.
shake up an egg and the embryo's
Oh,
inside,
yeah, you'll kill it,
you kill it.
yeah.
And keep going before I,
I'm just letting you duke it out.
yep.
I have a solution for all riparians that hate geese. Sell your house and get off the lake. No, I'm just kidding, just kidding.
I'll support that.
I
I'll
mean,
make that motion.
Geese and ducks come with water.
Yeah,
And if
our
you decide
break-
if you wanna buy a house and build a house on the lake, guess what? You're
But
gonna
now
have
we're
geese
gonna have
and
ducks and
ducks.
chickens. You know, there's
Now
no
we're gonna have
place to
chickens
go.
too.
There's no place to go.
So am I gonna get ticketed if this rule passes, because I know there's
Yeah, you're gonna have it
500
more-
geese out
Yeah,
there?
Yes.
more
I'll
than
get
5
10, yeah.
chickens.
More than 5?
And we will send Pat out to get you, buddy. All right, I will entertain a motion regarding the recommendation of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board that they, that they work with the Lake Fenton Property Owners Association to design and estimate the cost of landscaping improvements for the Manitowoc Park Beach as presented.
I will support a motion to approve.
And I'll second that.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Oh, of course. Kessler's absent. Gopel?
Yes.
I vote hell no. Reed?
Count of two?
Yes.
Lorraine?
Yes.
Clark?
I'm gonna vote hell yes.
Well, they really shit on your property.
I'm telling you,
If you had that many
oh,
bags
it's
full.
terrible. We don't go out there anymore, it's so bad. Terrible.
The naughty. And lastly, Tucker.
Yeah. Just regular yes, though.
This is regular.
It passes.
Oh, boy. I hope you guys are entertained this
5-1.
evening. I hope you're entertained.
I'm not trying to entertain.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, next under new business, the 2026 Fenton Township meeting schedule. The proposed 2026 Fenton Township meeting schedule is reviewed at the last board meeting, and the next step is to formally adopt the schedule. Are there any questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion regarding the adoption of the 2026 Fenton Township meeting schedule as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Kessler is absent. Gopel?
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed?
Yes.
Lorraine?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. Next under new business is resolution number 2025-48, honoring social media coordinator Monica McAllister. The board accepted the resignation of social media coordinator Monica McAllister at the November 4th meeting. Monica has done
You worked with her.
an excellent job bringing the township into the social media age in her time here. Her last day working for the township is this Friday, and a resolution has been prepared to honor Monica for her service to the community. Okay, resolution number 2025-48. Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
No, Mr. Broker is here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Mr. Broker, will you please
Yeah, Bob asked
present
me
the
to read it,
resolution?
so I will read it. Resolution 2025-48, whereas Monica L. McAllister is stepping down from her position as Fenton Township Social Media Coordinator on November 21st, 2025 to pursue a career in emergency management. Whereas during her 4 years of employment, Ms. McAllister transformed Fenton Township from having no social media presence to becoming fully engaged with the public through multiple platforms, diligently working to educate and inform the citizens of Fenton Township. And whereas Ms. McAllister consistently approached her role with exceptional dedication and integrity, ensuring that all posted information was clear, concise, and accurate, and always striving to maximize the effectiveness of the township's communications. And whereas in addition to her social media duties, Ms. McAllister was responsible for updating and maintaining the Fenton Township website, providing yet another reliable source of important and useful information for citizens. And whereas Ms. McAllister's contributions have left an enduring and positive impact on the township, reflecting her loyalty, professionalism, and commitment to public service. Now therefore be it resolved that the Township Board of the Charter Township of Fenton hereby recognizes Monica L. McAllister for her invaluable contributions, extends heartfelt appreciation for her dedicated service, and offers its best wishes for continued success in her new career path. And be it further resolved that this resolution be recorded in the official minutes of this meeting with a formal copy presented to Ms. McAllister as a symbol of the township's gratitude.
Thanks, Tom. I'll now entertain a motion regarding the adoption of resolution number 2025-48 as presented.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-48, thanking Ms. McAllister for her service as presented.
Second?
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
yes. Tucker?
Hell yes.
Lorraine?
Yes.
Gopel?
Yes.
Kessler is absent. Reed?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
I'll give her another hell yes.
Y'all know we drove the little kid out of the audience.
I think I need to check everybody's water bottles.
I haven't been drinking, but might start.
All right, moving on to the next business in order is board comment. Is there anyone on the board who has additional comments or concerns this evening?
The thing I will say is we hired 5 people tonight,
Yeah.
and we had 5 excellent candidates.
Oh,
I
unbelievable.
can't tell you how hard that is. I mean, I've been trying to hire people for the last 5 years, finding a single qualified candidate. So I applaud everybody that was involved in the effort, because it looks like we got 5 winners, and
Yep.
that's something of a miracle in this day and age.
and the board took it seriously. I mean, personnel committee, the process, everything worked, and township residents should be extremely happy with the quality of people that we were able to hire, so. All right, anything else? All right, moving on to public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. Is there anyone here present tonight that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? Well, we have nobody here on,
I was just giving everybody an opportunity.
Need my name, address, what do you?
Just your name.
My name's Dan Davis. I have an issue with Ruffy Ranch Retreat. My mom's been in that house for 23 years. I understand building what she built. The dog noise is an issue, okay? Day in and day out, they're barking. The weekends, they're barking. I've called Mr. Shaw. I've called the cops. The cops told me there's nothing they can do. I have to bring it to the township. I'm here. There's got to be, I have dogs. I understand they might bark for a minute or two. 45 minutes to an hour, 12 hours later when I'm outside working in my yard, they're still barking. I got 5 acres. I can hear them at the back corner northwest of my property. I can hear them inside my house with my windows closed in the summertime. Can we do something? I know she built a run on the back of her facility. I can still hear them. The night that I called the cops, they were supposedly locked inside her building. I can still hear them.
okay.
I mean, I don't know where any of you guys live, but that's not what I want to live next to. I don't want to listen to barking dogs all the time. And I'm sure neither one of you would want to listen to it either. I hang out on the lake every single weekend. I'm out here. When I go home to sit down outside to have a family cookout with my family, I should not be listening to dogs bark. I just don't feel that that's proper. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I completely understand. We do have a process. I know that Pat's been out there. Mike and I have discussed it. I've been there, I go there quite a bit. But maybe the times I'm there, so I'm not fighting against you. You live there. I don't.
I understand.
I've been to everything from an open house and everything else. And I guess, from what I understand, Mike, unless I'm wrong, have we had any other complaints from anybody else? When the police were out there, did they feel it was a noise issue that they could, enough to where they could write a citation or anything?
No, look, the who's been out there, the code enforcement's been out there, right? Code enforcement multiple times, multiple days, multiple times during the day. And, you know, he hasn't experienced any persistent excessive barking. You know, itself, barking dog. There has to be an excessive act without amount, right? And that hasn't, we haven't experienced it. We did bring her back in front of the planning commission about a month ago, right, and revised her approval, limiting the number of dogs outdoors after 7 p.m. So between 7 and 9, she's limited to 5 dogs at a time, and after 9 p.m., we make it 1 dog at a time, to be outside, because depending on the that. Without experiencing, you know, the excessive barking, it's difficult to create an enforcement.
See what Mike's trying to say? I mean, it's
Okay,
like, you know,
so-
your neighbors could be playing loud music as soon as they see the cops, or hear the
Understandable.
cops are coming, they
Video
turn the music
recording.
down.
Video recording.
I have recordings. My wife's got them. When do you want them?
That's proof within itself.
I mean, I got video standing at my house and her blowing air horns at these dogs. I mean, yeah. If you guys want, I told this to the meeting last night. Any one of you people on this board in Fenton Township are more than welcome to go sit in my driveway, anywhere on my 5 acres, and roll your window down in your car at any given time. Just listen. I'm not home all the time.
Tell me where you're at.
1250 West Thompson Road.
Give me geography. You're
West of,
I'm the
Ruffy
house
Ranch.
just to the west of her.
Just to the west. Okay.
Absolutely.
And you're good with me?
Absolutely,
Parking out there?
100%. I got cameras everywhere.
I go by there fairly regularly, obviously I don't hear them in my car, so,
I got a big old boat in the driveway, you cannot miss it.
all right.
Is there a barrier between you guys? I think she has a fence up now.
She has a fence up out back, but that's, so I was here last night, and they told me to come back tonight. And whoever was in charge last night said she built the run, and she's gonna finish it, okay? But she's only missing one window and one piece of paneling on the side that faces my house. I can still hear the dogs. All it does to me is amplifies it, because it's, is she insulating it? I've tried to talk to her when I first moved in, and she caught an attitude with me. I'm done. I'll be peaceful, but if you're gonna come at me, because I'm coming to you with a problem, I had a problem with one of my neighbors with me riding dirt bikes. I got 5 acres, didn't know I couldn't do it. Sold them. I try to appease who I live around because I have to deal with you, or you have to deal with me. So if we get along, we're great neighbors. If we fight and argue and scream at each other, we hate life.
I mean, this may help, because I have a issue where I live with the geese, but people party around my point, and it's just loud music throughout the weekend, and I understand that you have no peace and quiet. And so what I did is I put up arbors, and they've kind of grown high. They're probably maybe 12 foot high at this point, and that kind of helped cut down on the sound, and so that may help. Now, whose expense should it be? Should it be the ranch, or should it be yours? I mean, that's something that could be possibly enforced, that we could, hey, that if this continues to happen, you're gonna have to pay for the neighbors' arbors to throw those up, because that's that's his domain.
It's
That's where he
disturbing.
goes home to. That's his home, his sanctuary. And to be bothered with dogs, I mean, I understand that, because I deal with that on the weekends and sound, and even sometimes during the week.
And like you said, I get they're gonna bark. Mine bark. I got Great Danes. They're gonna bark. But when they bark, I try to get them in the house. I try to quiet it down, because I don't feel that my neighbors want to listen to it. I have a gentleman that was supposed to come tonight, but he lost track of time. He lives 5 houses to the north of her, and can hear him at his house. So it's not like it's just me right next door. There's other people. Now, it was short notice to get him here, but he does plan to come and voice his opinion. I have people that have been at my house numerous of times that, I had a barbecue for one of the holidays, and they were nonstop barking. I mean, how long of videos would you guys like? 10 minutes, 20 minutes, hour? You want morning, after? I don't know how long you want me to stand out there with a phone and videotape it, but my wife has them on her phone at home, because she's home more than I am. She's got 2-minute videos of her standing at my front door, in my garage, at my barn.
If you have those, it would be best if you could email those to me.
Absolutely.
And then I will meet with Mike and the code enforcement officer. And again, please don't look at the township. We're not doing the job. It's just like you said, sometimes by the time our code enforcement officer gets there, maybe it's just a time that they aren't barking. And that could happen for a long time, so.
And I get that.
Any information that you could give us, anybody out, if there's other residents, because we're not getting the complaints, like Mike said.
Right.
But we'll help you out any way we can.
100%.
I'll be glad to help you out. What time do you serve dinner?
It varies. I'm a truck driver.
So I just wanted to make sure when I got there, if you noticed me, I was gonna ask if I could join.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna record, though, what you need is a decibel. In order for it to be,
My mom just got me one.
yeah, so if you're recording and keeping an eye on the decibels, because that's what we can, objectively determine is too loud or not too loud, the
Okay.
decibel count. And I just did a quick look, and dog barks can be 80 to 90 decibels, so, they're
Well, and if
can be
she's
extremely
got
loud.
5 of them in that run
Yeah.
at a time during, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I mean, that doesn't, 7 o'clock, you guys cut it down, but, in prime afternoon or something, and it's just, I don't want to come home from being on the lake, hanging out with my friends, or, hanging out with my mom, and then sit down to eat dinner with my family, and all I hear is dogs barking, because I'm not going to listen to my dogs bark. So, What is the decibel limit? Do we know?
Help me out.
He,
I'm sorry, 65 at the property line?
okay, all right. That's what I'll do.
And that's so subjective too, because every time your neighbor starts his lawnmower, it's louder than that. Every time he starts his blower, it's louder than that. If he starts up a snow blower, it's louder than that. So it's.
Barks the dog.
Yeah, but, right,
But,
at least,
snowblower's a half hour, lawnmower's an hour.
Yep,
Not
and
that-
you
not
can't,
a
yep.
24/7 thing, so I feel.
Well, what we will do is, any information that you can email me, my cards are right when you walk out, you'll
Okay.
see my card. Just email, my email address is on it, email me whatever you can. Try to limit the time to maybe under 2 minutes.
Okay.
Take the, the worst, I guess, and, because the file might not send.
Right.
And, I will be happy to meet with Mike and our code enforcement officer and see what we can do for you.
All right, thank you, sir.
This might be a remedy, is that put, shock collars on them. When they bark, shut them down.
I don't think they legally can do that to someone else's dog.
If people were out there with them in the yard, dogs respond. Our dogs, if we just put them out in the yard, do they bark? But if you're out there with them, all they gotta do is put a couple employees out there with them. And, the dogs are gonna get that attention.
Please don't take this as, because I'm not there all the time.
Right.
But when I have been there, whenever they're outside, she requires 2 employees to be there. So, and again, and because she says it's part of whatever kennel society or whatever they have to do, there's so many square feet and only, because I know that when she was putting some out there, she was telling me that she was letting 10 dogs at a time, and it was causing problems, so she cut it down to 6. And but she still was required to have 2 people out there. So, and I'll be glad, I know Allure, I'll be glad to call her too and just say, hey, we've had complaints at the board level, and, I'm not saying that that's gonna help.
Wow, and we were here last night, like he said, and he said it was pretty quiet over there today, but,
Yeah, like today I didn't hear nothing.
yeah.
But
So,
the last time that I came in here, Mr. Dean told me to come to, it was like a planning commission meeting probably a month or so ago. I came, and like right after that, for a day or 2, I didn't hear nothing. Probably because somebody went and said something. And then, out of the blue, it's bark after bark after bark after bark.
We'll see what we can do for you.
All right, thank you.
All right, no problem. If you keep having issues, just be sure to communicate with Pat or Mike.
Okay.
And it always gets to my desk early in the morning, so,
Okay.
all right?
As far as
See what we can
video
do.
goes, if I may.
Yeah.
What you wanna do is with the decibel meter, get a video, show that you're standing on the edge of your lot, show what time it is, show the decibel meter, and it's going, so that way, every issue that could possibly be questioned, you've got covered on that video.
Okay.
Edge of your lot, decibel meter, show the reading of it, and prolong, you don't necessarily have to mail it, but you could bring it in and show it, and that would.
Okay.
Get one at the house too, like you said, if you can hear them, like inside the house, do the inside of the house too, outside of the house, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
More than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know in the summertime, I have my windows open because I don't always run my AC, and 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, they'd be over there barking. And I
As soon as we get that, I will sit down with Mike, and if we have to, we'll write a letter.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anybody else here that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? Hearing none, it is now 8:33 PM. And if there's nothing else, I say good night. The meeting's adjourned.
recording stopped.